Hey everyone, my name is Jeff Veglahn. I am the land steward here at our Menomonee Valley branch. Thank you so much for joining me on my little walk today. I'm just here in Three Bridges Park. This is a beautiful day. Sun's out. It's gonna be pushing like 70 degrees today. So I'm just here for a walk. Well, I'm working, but I'm going for a walk too. So one of the cool things that I am super fortunate to be part of is this park. I think Three Bridges Park is one of the coolest places in all of Milwaukee. That's just bias opinion because I'm the land steward here, so I take care of this place. But honestly, I really do think that Three Bridges Park is one of the coolest places. You know, this property here, if you haven't been here, it's down in the Menomonee Valley. It's right along the Hank Aaron State Trail. That's what I'm walking on right now. It's about 3/4 of a mile long. It goes from the Urban Ecology Center on Pierce Street, which is at 3700 West Pierce Street. Goes right along the Hank Aaron State Trail, all the way over to Mitchell Park Domes, which is at 27th Street. So it's about 3/4 of a mile long. And it's nestled right in between industrial area. So that's Rexnard, Falk, Palermo's. And then on the other side, which you can't see because there's a hill right now, but on the other side is railroad tracks and then Silver City, and then Mitchell Park on the north side and south side of the park. So this is a really cool property. And the coolest part about this project, coolest part about this park, I think, is this used to be a brownfield. So, you know, what I'm walking on right now, the Hank Aaron State Trail, secondary pass that I'm walking up here, you know, about even 10 years ago, this property looked vastly different. It was nothing but rubble. There was a lot of fill, a lot of contaminated soil, and it basically was unusable. People weren't coming in here, or if they were, they shouldn't be. And now, you know, 2020, this is 24 acres of natural space. Beautiful. People walking on the trail behind me. Just absolutely beautiful. So we're making 24 acres of native plant communities. So what that means is, as a land steward for Urban Ecology Center, my job is to control the invasive species population out here, and also to create natural green spaces, natural plant communities that you would typically find pre-European settlement in southeast Wisconsin. So what I'm in right now, it's sun-loving, open canopy, no trees. This is all prairie here. So prairies are any plant community that has 0 to 25% tree cover. They're typically categorized in either a short grass prairie or a tall grass prairie. This one is a tall grass prairie dominated with switchgrass, Indian grass, big blue stem. Sorry, I just got distracted. And then underneath, you can't really see it right now, they're not really coming up, but if you walk out here in about a month, this place is buzzing with flowers, pollinators, bumblebees, dragonflies, damselflies. We got a whole lot of activity that goes on out here. But this is all prairie land. And this is one of the coolest views right behind me. So this is Dragonfly Pond right here. This is a new boardwalk that we just created. And this is one of the coolest places of this park. You know, so to the east, right now the camera's facing towards downtown. You can see that. And you turn around, there's the railroad tracks. There's Miller Park in the back. This is one of the coolest spots because you can't hear it right now, but there are tons of American toads just singing a choir of song down by Dragonfly Pond. We're gonna walk down there in a little bit. But yeah, so this area here, this is all prairie, dominated with native grasses that you would find here pre-European settlement. You know, as of 2018, that was the last year I did a vegetation survey out here, which is basically going through, looking at various 1 meter squared plots throughout the park. We have about 42 of them. Not about, we have 42 of them. Looking at 1 meter square plots, and we identify everything within that 1 meter square. So whether it's a native plant, non-native plant, grass, forb, which is a flowering plant, we identify it, and then we also give it a cover class, which basically means how much space that one plant takes up. So you could have 15 plants and they all take up, you know, 0 to 5% of the plot. Or you could have one plant that takes up 100 and throw in any combination of any of those. And yeah, so we go through, we have 42 plots out here. We identify everything that's in the plot, and that's how we know, you know, what we're doing, what kind of work we're doing out here. That informs us of any non-native populations that might be coming in at a higher density than what we would prefer. But it also tells us what new plants are coming in, what native plants are coming out. Yeah, as of 2018, we had 110 different plants out here in Three Bridges Park. That's grasses, flowering plants, but that's also native, non-native. I'm gonna stop talking right now because I'm at Dragonfly Pond, right behind me. And I'm gonna hope that you guys can hear the song that is happening right now. So I'm just gonna stop talking for a second. I don't know if you can see this, but there's also 2 painted turtles hanging out in the pond. I'm trying to be able to get you to see it. If not, you can just take my word for it. They're here. There's another one down there in the plants. So Dragonfly Pond here, this was constructed as a way to control stormwater runoff. So before this park was constructed in 2012, you know, all the water that fell on this property and fell from the railroad tracks and from the residential areas behind me, you know, just washed all of that soil and washed everything that was on this property right into the Menomonee River. And that put in a lot of oils and heavy metals and debris, all the stuff that you would typically find in a essentially wasteland type property. So when this park was constructed, it was designed to control stormwater runoff by slowing it, catching it in a few different areas. That pond that we were just at was one of the areas. And then behind me, there's a couple of smaller ponds that one pond, drains into. So the whole idea of this property was, we want to control stormwater runoff. We want to help keep the Menomonee River clean, which in turn keeps Lake Michigan clean, where we get all of our drinking water from. But then we also wanted to bring in native plant communities into the city. Because if you don't know, Urban Ecology Center, we are an environmental education center, and we focus on educating urban families, youth and adults, about nature and about the importance of nature and all the natural cycles you would have out there. Teach them about native plants and insects, just everything that you would want to learn about a native plant community. Our amazing educators and staff do that with classes, volunteers, and it's amazing. It's really, really kind of cool to have the opportunity to be a part of this. It's a cool organization for sure, and we're doing pretty cool stuff. All right, so I'm still walking. I'm walking past Dragonfly Pond. So far I have 6,000 steps. We're just gonna keep on walking. So I'm walking towards Mitchell Park, towards the domes right now, towards the end of the park. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm in the sun, but this park is only about 7 years old, something like that. And restoration work takes a long time. It takes a long time to establish a prairie. It takes a long time to establish a woodland, a savanna, a forest. And a portion of this project, portion of Three Bridges Park, is going to be wooded areas. We're going to have some savannas. So savanna in southeast Wisconsin would typically be an oak opening or an oak savanna. It's dominated by oak trees and hickories for the most part. And it really is kind of a transition habitat between a prairie and a woodland. Well, you can think of it that way. They're not always next to a prairie and they're not always next to a woodland. Sometimes they are. I guess they have to be. There's only those three plant communities. Anyways, it doesn't always mean that they're in between a prairie and a woodland. Sometimes you'll have an opening right in the middle of a prairie. Sometimes you'll have an opening right in the middle of a woodland. But it's a plant community that roughly has 45 to 70% canopy cover, so it is able to have a combination of prairie plants that are adapted for sun, and then it's also adapted or able to have woodland plants that are adapted for shade. So it's a really, really cool, diverse area. A portion of this park is going to be that. Probably of the 24 acres, I think it's like 16 acres is going to be opening savanna, which is pretty cool. But unfortunately, I'm probably never going to see that in my lifetime because oak trees are very, very slow growing. I mean, one oak tree can live to be like 600 years old, 500 years old. It doesn't really reach maturity for many decades. So I might not ever see this park in its glory. I mean, it's pretty glorious right now, but it's not the end. This is just the beginning. And then some of this area is going to be woodland, but that's mostly right along the Menomonee River, so there's already a bunch of trees growing up, black willows, box elders, cottonwoods. So we're kind of just extending that up into Three Bridges Park a little bit. So it's not going to be a lot of woodland, but it's going to be some. Yeah, it's a nice day out. All right, so I am just making it to Mitchell Park Domes on the far end of Three Bridges Park. You can see there's the railroad tracks right behind me. This is another one of those cool places because we're up on a little bit of a hill. There's Mitchell Park right behind me. We're up on a little bit of a hill, so we're kind of in this natural space. But then we're surrounded by all this railroad, all this industrial area. It's a little bit of an oasis. So we're going to continue walking for a little bit. I'm going to walk over the bridge here to Mitchell Park. Yeah, I just want to thank you for joining me on this walk today. This is one of the coolest places. If you haven't been out to Three Bridges Park, I really suggest you spend your days out here. It's pretty cool. There's about 2.5 miles of walking paths, whether it's the paved Hank Aaron trail or all the secondary gravel and wood chip paths that we have. You can park right at Urban Ecology Center at 3700 and access there. You can park on Canal Street. You can park behind Mitchell Park Domes. There's a lot of places that you can park. 33rd Court behind Palermo's has a little parking spot. So there's a lot of accessibility to this park. Now I'm right behind the domes. Another super cool place in Milwaukee. I'm not going to talk about that though. I'm talking about Three Bridges Park. If you haven't been to the domes, you should go to the domes. Because it's a treasure. All right, I'm gonna walk back into the park. I'm gonna do some work. Thanks for spending your time with me. Hey, if you have any questions, you can always contact Urban Ecology Center. Ask for Jeff Veglahn. I'm the land steward here at Menomonee Valley. I'm always happy to answer questions via email. You can give me a call. You can join me for Route, which is one of my walk-in volunteer times. I have that every Wednesday and Thursday morning. Just stop into the center. Otherwise, thanks again for spending your morning with me. Enjoy the rest of your day.